Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of entitled people. In today's episode, Update 3, entitled SIL wants custody of my baby. Karma eventually caught a Karen. I just got Karen for the first time. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Update 3, entitled SIL wants custody of my baby. So lots of people have been messaging and commenting asking for an update. Firstly, my family and I are safe. SIL was eventually released from hospital to continue outpatient treatment with a psychiatrist, and she's on some meds. My husband met up with her husband, MIL, and FIL to get a feel of her mental state. She was very apologetic and seems to understand the issue with her previous behavior. She asked to see the kids and I, but that was of course a no, and my husband let her know that she will have no access to us for the foreseeable future. Since she was discharged, MIL has been awesome about letting us know when she would be at their house, so we wouldn't run into her accidentally. MIL also told my husband a few days ago that SIL has been saying it's hard not being able to see the kids. She told him for information's sake and not to guilt him into changing our boundaries. SIL and her husband are looking into migrating to give her some distance in hopes that it will help her healing. I'm hoping for the best for their future, but it will be a future without my kids and I in it. She was very apologetic and seems to understand the issue with her previous behavior. She asked to see the kids and I. These two statements do not mix. She either understands that what she asked is frankly ridiculous and insane, or she thinks she can have a normal relationship with you and your kids now. Both at the same time make me question how sane she is now. Before all this, she was a very good aunt to my older kids. So in conversation, she asked my husband when she would be able to meet with me to apologize in person and if she would be able to see the kids at all. He made it clear that he would be the only one she has access to. I remembered your original post. I'm glad the entire family is taking this threat seriously. It's a really good thing that your in-laws were all so amazing through this. That seems to have helped the situation a ton. Still, the whole story is crazy. Literally. Yeah, so often here on Reddit it's the other way around. And it's so nice for once to see the family taking things seriously and getting the person help. I'm sorry, but if you need a baby this bad, you will not be a good mother. Good for you for standing your ground. Your children are the one thing that you have to try to keep safe. And you're doing that. If she understands what she did wrong, I'm shocked that she thinks she will ever see any of you again. It doesn't sound like she fully does understand. It's very sad that she's had this kind of mental break. Some people simply never recover from an episode like this. The fact that she's still asking to see your children tells you everything you need to know. She should never be allowed around you or your children ever again. If you so feel sorry for her, he can have a relationship with her along and out of your home. That also means sharing 0 parts of your life/kids with her. Karma eventually caught a Karen. This happened many years ago, before we had the term Karen. I worked in an office that had multiple shifts, which meant sharing desks. This was common in the industry I was in, and I generally worked 5 to midnight, so was always assigned to a desk that belonged to someone during the day. But guess what? You don't own the desk, and unless I make a mess, you have nothing to complain about. Anyway, this Karen worked at the desk next to one I was frequently assigned to, and whenever I came in, I'd smile and say, "Hi," and she would barely grunt at me. Only once did I have to use her desk, and it was literally only for an hour because the person whose desk I was at came in earlier than expected, and she only knew because I was still working there when she came in and I was finishing up a double shift, so I was very tired, 5 p.m. to 8 a.m., but tried to smile and say, "Hi," and all she did was pick up the garbage can and start shrieking that there was a back layer of waxy paper from a sheet of labels in the recycling can, and it can't be recycled. She threw the sheet of paper and slammed down the can and stomped off. I just ignored her behavior. The next time I was assigned to her neighbor's desk, I again smile and say, "Hi," and she didn't even grunt, just got up and walked away. It was the end of her shift, so I figured she left. Well, it turned out she went to the ladies' room before leaving. Came back to her desk to get her things before leaving, and as she turned to walk away, I saw the glorious karma. Her skirt was fully tucked into her granny panties and pantyhose. It was an awful sight to see, and I honestly don't know how she didn't feel it, but I didn't say a thing. I wish I could have seen the look on everyone's faces on that NYC subway train that night. My daughter saw an older lady with her skirt tucked in her pantyhose. She stopped her and told her, and the old lady was so embarrassed she got mad at my daughter. Karen things happen to Karens. I can moderately one-up this tale. Once upon a time, I worked in a fabric store whose bathroom was way in the back of the store, in the stockroom. One day, a frequent customer walked out of the bathroom just before I walked out of the stockroom. It was in the days of long tunic tops that hit mid-thigh on most of us. This poor woman did not have her tunic sweater tucked into her stirrup pants. Oh no, she had a used sanitary napkin hanging down below the hem of the sweater. This was the old days when pads had tails you fastened into panties with a thinger to hold the tails, or if you were really old school, a belt with the same thingers. Hated them. It took me a couple of strides to identify what I was seeing and catch up to her before she reached the more populated area of the store and scream whisper that she had to return to the restroom to remove that sanitary pad ASAP. I never even saw her exit the store, let alone return in the future, and she'd been in at least monthly, if not weekly. Reminds me of this joke. A guy's wife is recovering from surgery and can't leave the house, so he goes to church alone. He comes home with a black eye. She asks what happened. He says, "The lady in the pew in front of me had her skirt stuck in her cheeks, so I reached over to pull it out for her and she clocked me." Next week, he goes to church alone and comes home with another black eye. The wife says, "What happened this time?" He says, "Well, I sat in the pew behind her again, and since she got so mad last time, I figured I better put her skirt back in." OMG, I went to a wedding at a country club. I went with a group of girls to the bathroom. I walked out behind them, through a bar full of people, and out to the wedding area. A lady came running out behind me and started grabbing my skirt, whispering in my ear, "Sweetheart, your dress is tucked in your panties." I wanted to die, so instead I went and told everyone at the wedding about it. I just got Karen for the first time. I was just at Publix looking to get a fruit platter for a potluck brunch tomorrow. Publix is in the South for those that don't know. This is important. I had my hands in my pocket looking at the different options and prices, saw one I liked, and went to reach for it. As I take my hands out of my pockets, I hear, "Excuse me, sweetie." Then I see two hands grab the stack of platters. I look up and two women wearing tennis skirts, ponytails, visors, and look at me, jewelry, loading all the platters into a cart. Me, I was about to grab one of those. Karen, you didn't have your hands on it. Me, you clearly saw me take my hands out of my pockets to grab one. FK, but you didn't have one in your hand. Me. FK, I hope you understand. Me, I do understand. Bless your heart. For those not in the know, it doesn't mean how it sounds. I happened to had already seen that they had bowls of fruit that had more volume than what was on the pre-made platters. In my nicest Midwestern way of speaking, I said, "Oh, it's no big deal. There's more fruit in these bowls right here for half the price." Proceeded to put all four of them in my cart, and while turning to pay for them, I said, "Have a blessed day." I didn't think you could see a face turn red with rage under gallons of bad makeup, but as I'm typing this, I can't unsee it and will cherish the memory. I didn't need all four bowls, so I dropped one off at work, gave one to our neighbors, and kept one for the brunch and one for the wife and I. It was a good time. The double Southern diss. Glad you got more for less, and totally unloaded both barrels on a Karen, while remaining completely polite to the untrained eye. I'm from Wisconsin. It's what we do. You paint a great picture. Rock on. Get some raspberry yogurt and stir it in with the fruit. Delicious, and UPS the game. I love it. You double blessed them. Very well done. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.